Hey there, Martin. Can you hear me okay?
I sure do.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to join us. We are now joined by Martin Truex Jr., our second place finisher in the number 19 Bass Pro Shops Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Martin, can you talk us through your run out there and how you feel getting the second place finish at Richmond?
Yeah, it feels good. Obviously, wanted to win, and going for 3 in a row here would have been pretty cool to be able to make that happen, but just didn't quite have what we needed tonight. Bass Pro Toyota was good, just not quite good enough. So, I thought early in the race, I thought, man, this is going to be a struggle. We started 14th or whatever, and took a little bit of work to get towards the front, and really was never pleased with the way the car was driving, and just continued to battle and work on it all night and fight for every position, and ended up coming away with some good stage points and a good finish. So typically when you're off and your car feels and does things you don't want it to do and you can run second, it's says a lot about your team. So proud of everyone, and we'll keep digging.
Awesome. Well, we are going to take some questions here from the media. As a friendly reminder for Martin, please click the participants tab and raise your hand, or you can send me a chat. We're going to kick things off with Jeff Magliochetti. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hi, Martin. Congratulations on another great run. What did you think of the tire and the package setup, especially considering we'll be running this tire at Phoenix?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously was a fan of the old tire here better, but with that being said, I don't know that it really relates to Phoenix a whole lot as far as what it's going to feel like there. I feel like the tracks are so different, it's hard to say, but for sure, I think with this tire, obviously the two's got it figured out. He won, I guess he won Loudon with it, and then here. So, they've been strong on this tire and this package. So we got a little work to do, but overall, I felt like it was, it didn't lay really any rubber down in the racetrack like we've seen here in the past, and I think that changed things up quite a bit, especially for us, obviously, and. Again, I was surprised with how bad my car felt that I was still, able to run second. So I don't know. I like the old one better, but I guess it depends on who you ask.
Understandable. Thanks, Martin. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take our next question from Dustin Albino. Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, Martin, good run tonight. Obviously you didn't get the win that I'm sure you wanted, but why are you so good at Richmond?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think good team, good cars. We've been able to, work on the same things as a group for quite a while. And that's really what it takes, I think, at the short tracks. They're so unique, and it takes a certain, kind of approach, driving style, and setup all to go together and mesh together. And I think for us, we've just been able to work on that for years together and continue to tweak on it. And, that's kind of where we're at there. So it's one of those things, I feel like once you find it, you can keep it for a while until so many things change. You have to change up what you're doing and how you approach it. But, so far it's been pretty good here lately.
Thanks, Martin.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll take our next one from Jonathan with the Racing Experts. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan Field with the RaceExperts.com. You've had obviously a lot of top 3 finishes, top 5 finishes this season. Only one win to this point. What do you think it's going to take to reach that next level as you start to get down toward Phoenix?
I think we're there, really. I mean, it just depends on the week. I think you look at Darlington last weekend, and we had the dominant car and just got in a situation where just something happened that we wish wouldn't, but obviously had the car to beat. So I'm not. I think we're there. I think we'll just we just got to keep doing what we're doing.
All right, we'll take our next one from Bob Pockers. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Martin, you're 38 points up above the cutoff. So do you have no worries during this week, or when you're never not clinched, is there always the dread of something bad happening in the back of your mind?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really worry about it too much. I mean, Bob, we're just going to, we're going to go there and race and, see what happens. I mean, you can't, there's no sense in making yourself crazy all week when it's not, it has no bearing on the outcome. So, we're going to work hard to try to be better at Bristol. It's not been the best place for us, but I'm confident the guys will do a good job, and we'll go there and run the best we can and see what happens.
And have you seen any difference in the three this week? Either just obviously they're running better, but I don't know whether if you guys as drivers, is there something that you're seeing that car is doing that wasn't able to do earlier in the year?
It's got speed. So I don't know. Honestly, it's really hard to tell, why. You don't know what's under the car suspension wise and shocks and springs and all those things that matter. And, obviously they've, taken a big step forward. So that's cool to see. And, but yeah, it's really hard to tell. You can't see these things from the outside.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Martin. Well, that's all we've got for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Congratulations, and we'll see you for Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, and we are bringing, nope, we're not bringing him in. He's already here. Hey, Joey, can you hear me okay?
Clear.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to join us. We're now joined by our third place finisher, Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford for Team Penske. Joey, can you talk us through your run and what it was like out there?
Yeah, just third place. That's about where we were today. Had a pretty good car and thought early in the race we were a couple adjustments away from being where we needed to be, and just seemed like as the track kept going on, it got a little bit tighter, and every time we tried to fix that, we got a little bit looser off. So it's kind of pick your poison. You want to be loose off or do you want to have turn? And that was the biggest challenge we had tonight. But we did what we had to do. We scored stage points and a couple third places in a row. So we've picked it up there in the playoffs. I feel good about that. Got to keep the ball rolling here. Feel good about where we're at for Bristol. And you can top 3, top 5 all the way to Phoenix if we keep doing this. So want to get wins, want to get more playoff points in the bank for sure. But, overall, we're doing what we got to do. And, we'll keep plugging away with our Shell Pennzoil Mustang.
Awesome. Well, we're going to open up the floor for questions here. We'll get right into the questions for Joey. We'll take off with Sterling with KCOU. Go ahead, Sterling.
Thank you. Joey, congrats on the good run tonight. Is there anything that you or the team noticed from tonight's race that can be applied to the race at the championship race in Phoenix, considering the cars that you all are going to be running are fairly similar?
Yeah, yes and no. It's quite a bit different than Phoenix because mainly because of the track surface here. It's so abrasive and tire wear, it means so much. So your setups are similar in ways, but in other ways, not at all. You learn something every time you go to the racetrack, if that means anything. I don't know how much it's going to help us for Phoenix, but I feel like we got smarter for Richmond. It's not going to be much for this year, but maybe we got a couple of things that may help us.
And your team haven't won a race since before the pandemic break. With a run like tonight, does this boost the morale of the team just a little bit to know that you guys are getting a little bit closer to breaking through and finally getting a win again?
Of course, I don't think we're that far off from it, to be honest with you. Last week we finished third and we fought through plenty of adversity. A few weeks before that, we were pretty good. We've been pretty good here recently of clicking off quite a few top 5s. So that's something to be very proud of. They're not wins. I know. I know we haven't won since the pandemic started. And but I also think from where we were 6 to 8 weeks ago to where we are now, I'm very proud of. We've made some big gains and put ourselves in position now to where we're close to winning again. We're running solidly in the top 5, and wins will come along eventually when you keep doing that. So, yes, I want to win, but I want to win a championship even more. And right now we got to, take what we can to get there.
Thanks, Joey. Safe travels.
Thanks.
All right. Our next question will come from Jeff Magliochetti. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hi, Joey. Thank you for joining us. Another good finish for you guys. What's the best piece of advice as a veteran of the sport you can offer to a younger teammate like Ryan Blaney, who's on the cusp of the playoff picture right now and has a bit of a dire situation going into Bristol next week?
Oh, first off, Blaney's done this long enough and has been in those positions before. So I think you kind of figure out what you need in your own way. Ryan Blaney's different than Joey Logano, and different than Brad Keselowski, and different than Chase Elliott, and the next guy and the next guy. The same thing that works for me is not going to work for him. We're wired differently. We all are. And so I think the biggest thing is you dig deep down inside and you figure out what makes you tick, what makes you have a little bit more, what helps your team along, and learning your race team, and how you can fire them up and make sure you get the right pit stops and the right car for the weekend. You got to level up. That's what the playoffs are about. It's always about trying to find a little bit more, and what you did during the regular season will never be enough in the playoffs. And as each round goes and each race goes, that intensity will pick up, and you need to figure that out for yourself. Not that I don't want to help him. I mean, I'd help him. I'd tell him what I do, but I'm pretty sure what I do won't work for him.
Fair enough. Thanks, Joey.
Yep.
All right. Our next question will come from Bob Pockers. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Joey, Brad was saying earlier this week that the short tracks and road courses, or the short tracks and restrictor plates, are the best for you guys right now. I don't know if you agree, but is it nice to have a solid performance on a short track? There haven't been that many this year. That makes you feel like, okay, we should be good for the other short tracks the rest of the way.
Yeah, I feel like if we can get to Phoenix, I feel like we're in a pretty good space. We just got to get there. But I don't feel like we're that far on 550s anymore. I did feel like we were way off, and now I feel like we're maybe not as good as where we are at 750s, but we've made gains, like you said, and I'm speaking more on behalf of the 22 than just Team Penske. They've been pretty good. Some one cars or so has been good at 550s. We've been as a 22 a little bit off, but we've made some good gains there as well. So, speaking on the behalf of the 22 only, I'd say, our strengths are still 750s, but we're getting closer to where we need to be to win one of those 550s again.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. And Jordan Bianchi, did you have a question?
Bob asked my question. Thank you, though.
Okay. Just wanted to make
Good
sure.
job, Bob.
All right. And we're going to take our final question for Joey from Chris Knight. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Joey. I was just wondering if you could talk about, it's been a trying year for everybody, but the Joey Logano Foundation stepped up during the playoffs and donated $22,000 each playoff week for a local organization in North Carolina. I was just wondering if you could talk about the mindset behind that and what the reaction has been like so far.
Yeah, I posted a video on social media this week, and we wanted to continue to do the grants for our foundation. It's such a big year for the foundation with that $1 million fund for the COVID-19 response and relief fund, and it was really good. But at the same time, we didn't want to lose track of what our roots were with the foundation, which is helping children and young adults in times of crisis, and a lot of that is within the foster care community and organizations that help these kids. And I got it on the mask. It says believe. And I think that word meant so much to me as a race team, obviously. But when you think of these kids, they just need someone to believe in them. Think about how many people just kind of put some of these kids to the wayside and don't think about them as much as they need to. So for us, we didn't want to forget about these organizations this year and what they need more than ever right now. And when I talk to these organizations, their government funding is going away. So you can only imagine some of these situations, not only for the organizations, but even more importantly, the kids, they just need help. And like I said, someone to believe in them. So our foundation will do that, and all our supporters will be that person to hopefully help. And we got some great supporters for that reason, and we're going to continue to do that $22,000 a week to the end of the year.
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks.
All right, Joey. Well, that's all we've got for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Congratulations on another great finish, and we'll see you at Bristol.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. All right, and to the media, we're going to be joined here momentarily by our race winning crew chief. As a reminder, if you do have a question, feel free to put your hand up now or send me a chat so that we can get right into questions with Jeremy, and we'll get started when he joins. Thanks. Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and congratulations on another win.
Thank you.
Can you just walk us through kind of how it feels heading to Bristol, getting this win, and how the number 2 team is going to approach Bristol?
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice to be locked in because Bristol is certainly one of those places where things beyond your control happen quite often. But as far as how we're going to approach it, it's a lot like this week. We're going to go try to get a stage win and a race win and get some more playoff points and keep adding to the pile for moving on through the next round. I really feel like the second round is probably the toughest. There's a lot of things you can't control in the second round with the Roval and Talladega. So the more playoff points we can get, the better off we're going to be.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take some questions here from the media. Let's kick things off with Jordan Bianchi. Go ahead, Jordan.
Jeremy, a lot of talk this season about the 4 and the 11 and how dominant they've been. But if you look at it a little bit closer, on the tracks with a 750 rules package, Penske as a whole, as an organization, has 4 wins this year. Do you guys think you guys are getting overlooked a little bit and how it sets up for you in the playoffs if you look at Phoenix a little bit? And then also, what makes you guys so good with this rules package?
Yeah, I don't get too caught up in whether or not we're being overlooked. I mean, those guys have a lot of wins this year, and they've really been the teams to beat, so they should get the attention that they're getting, and it's up to us to do something about that. So I think, first off, I think all of our guys are really good short track racers. They have a short track pedigree. They're really good at that discipline, and I think like a lot of teams, most of us came from short track backgrounds, so it's something that we take a lot of pride in, running well at the shorter tracks. And we want to run well here just like everybody else does, but and it's not to say we don't work as hard on everything else. It just seems like our guys are really good at coming up with good mechanical grip setups for these short tracks, and hopefully we can keep improving on them.
All right, we'll take our next question from Stephen Conley. Go ahead, Stephen.
Jeremy, as a whole this season and here in the playoffs, you guys have started with back-to-back third-place finishes, or the win now. For Brad, where do you feel that Penske is as a group especially going into the second round with those tracks that you mentioned as challenges?
I mean, I feel like our cars are competitive week in, week out. I feel like there's nowhere left on the schedule that we can't go win at. I just look at the schedule and think about things that we can't control. Obviously speedways are tough there's a lot of things that are out of your hands. The road courses, a lot of times there's things out of your hands, inopportune cautions, things like that are less that we can't do anything about, so I look at those races and think, man, I'd love to win Vegas and not have to worry about either one of those. So that's my goal right now. That's the number one thing on my mind is, all right, let's go. We got 2 weeks here. Let's go make sure we got everything ready for Vegas and go try to win that one. But there's nowhere in the next 8 races that a Penske car can't win, in my opinion.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take our next question from Kelly Crandall. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you. Hey, Jeremy. The other day, Brad said he came into the season with the pit crew and team swap, and he really didn't have any expectations. He just wanted to see how it would play out. For you guys, as a leader of this team, going from Ryan, coming over to Brad, what were your expectations? And then I have a follow-up after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I've always looked at the 3 drivers at Team Penske, and I feel like they're, from a talent perspective, they're all very equal. I think they all have a boatload of talent. They all have maybe tracks that they're better at than others to each other. But really, the difference in the 3 of them is just their experience levels. And Brad's obviously, the most experienced. And even when we were working with Ryan, I've used this term a lot, that we tried to leverage Brad's experience. We tried to use his comments about what racetracks were going to do from practice to the race and what he expected to happen. We used that information when we were working with Ryan. So working with him firsthand, we're just, we're closer to the source, and we've been trying to leverage that, and we've been trying to use his experience and the things that he's learned over time in the course of his career to make our cars better, make our setups better, and help us make better decisions. And, I think that's when you're put in that position, we felt like that was the best approach to it. And obviously we're happy with the success, and we need to, keep winning races and try to, win this championship.
And the second thing I just wanted to ask was, is this a statement season for your group, in the sense of, again, with when you guys were the 12, it was almost like you guys were a step behind the 2 and the 22? Or is this a statement of what your group is capable of, or does it go back to what you just said and it just comes down to driver experience?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I felt like there were a lot of times, if you look at Ryan's strengths, and I would say that the mile and a halves are probably his strengths. I felt like going into this year that if we were still working with Ryan, we'd have probably won 3 or 4 races with him. I truly believe that. I do think it's good for our team to have some success and get the credit they deserve. There's a lot of people on this team that have put in a lot over the years, and our core group's been together a long time. And when I look at the 4 and the 11, those guys have their teams have been together for a while. And so I think for us, we're kind of coming into our own with Brad, and hopefully we can just keep building and keep making it better.
All right, and we're going to take our next question from Bob Pockers. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Jeremy, do you even look much at the Bristol car this week, or do you just pretty much focus on Vegas?
No, I mean, we'll look at both. Like I said, the playoff points and the race win points that are available are invaluable when it comes to moving from round to round. So just to make sure that if we do catch some bad luck here or there, I mean, we're going to go in there and try to win next week, just like any other race. So, but yeah, we'll certainly get a jump start on looking at the Vegas car, which everybody at Team Penske's always working ahead. But no, we're not going to leave anything out there for sure.
And is there any kind of thing comforting in the sense of you have been good on the short tracks, but there haven't been many short tracks, and you come out here and show you haven't lost a beat?
Yeah, I mean, it's good that we were able to, I feel like the whole group, our engineering group, everybody took what we learned at Loudon and sat down with Brad and debriefed and made some really good decisions. And that's Brad. So he's been dying to do that for a couple minutes here. So when you win, you get to bang the gong, I guess. So I think the whole group just really made some good decisions leaving Loudon and okay, we ran really well at Loudon, but what can we do better? And I think that's the key to success. And, moving forward between now and Phoenix, and Martinsville and Bristol even, we need to look at our short track stuff and keep trying to make incremental improvements to it.
All right. Well, it looks like that's all we've got for you, Jeremy. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Another win, and we'll see you at Bristol.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Alrighty. And if you couldn't tell by the gong, we'll be shortly joined here by Brad Keselowski. So just going to clean up the station real quick and we'll get started.
Somebody's happy that the 2-car won the Federated Auto Parts 400 tonight at Bristol. That's really awesome. Here, I'll take a picture of you signing it for her.
I do, yeah. Do I still have to wear the mask for this?
All right. Hey, Brad, are you able to hear me okay?
Yeah. Sorry, everything's wet. It must have been freshly wiped.
Yes, it's the cleanest station in Virginia. It
All
is.
right, we'll take that.
Well, congratulations on another win. Can you kind of tell us how you feel heading into Bristol now that you have this win? Do you just kind of focus on Vegas? How are you feeling?
No, I'm just going to enjoy tonight. It's hard to win a cup race. These guys are really good. A race like tonight, I think easily gets sold as, there weren't any wrecks. What was going on? These drivers are just good. I mean, these cars all drove so bad with that little bitty spoiler on them, a lot of horsepower. And you had guys with new tires and old tires sliding around, and it's so easy to get in trouble and to wreck. And these drivers are just freaking good, and they didn't do that. And to win a race against drivers that are this good is pretty cool. It's something I'm very proud of, and I'm gonna try to soak it up.
Awesome. Well, before you soak it up, we're going to do some questions with the media. And let's kick things off here with Jordan Bianchi. Go ahead, Jordan.
Brad, looking at the 750 package this year, Penske has more wins this year than the 4 team or the 11 team or any other organization out there. What is it about this package that makes you guys so good? And then I got a follow-up.
I'm not sure, Jordan, but we haven't been nearly as good as we want to be on the 550s. But you're right. The 750 short tracks have been very strong. I'm proud of that. Proud of the effort that's been put into to running so well on those tracks. And it's a good time to be running well on the 750s because with the new playoff format, there's a lot of those types of races.
That kind of leads into my next question. Is if you get to Phoenix, that's a 750 track. Are you the favorite over the 4 and the 11?
Oh shoot! Phoenix is a long ways from now. I got to get there first, so I'm going to try not to think too far ahead and try to focus on getting there. And if we get there, then we'll bring our A game.
Thank you.
No problem, Jordan.
All right, we'll take our next question from Wayne Epps. Go ahead, Wayne.
Hey, Brad, you were excited about coming in this race, had high expectations. So just how rewarding is it to see that sort of vindicated now tonight?
Oh, it means a ton to me. Like I said, these are some of the best drivers in the world, and they're not easy to beat. And I knew we were going to have a great car. I knew I'd put a lot of work into what I needed to do as a driver to be really good here and to find a really strong rhythm. And if I could pair those things with an execution race, a race with great execution, I felt like we could win it. And we put all those three together, and here we are. So that feels really incredible. It's hard to find the right word for it, to be honest, but I'm going to enjoy it for sure.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, we'll take our next one from Jeff Magliochetti. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Brad, congratulations on another win. Wasn't such a great night for your teammate, Ryan Blaney. So as a veteran of this sport and a prior champion, what's the best piece of advice you can offer him going into an elimination race at Bristol next week?
Just go win the damn thing. He's really good at Bristol, and he can do that. So don't think about it. Just go win it.
Thanks, Brad. Congratulations.
No problem.
All right, we'll take our next one from Sterling with KCOU. Go ahead, Sterling.
Thank you. Brad, congrats on the great win tonight. This is the first season that you've had since 2016 where you have 4 race victories. Considering this is the first season that you have in the Cup Series, at least with your crew chief, Jeremy Bolins, did you think that 4 wins or even a season as great as you're having right now was possible when Jeremy came on at the start of this season?
I put no expectations on the year coming into it other than to run our best and to push myself to be the best driver I can be and be the best leader of the team I can be. So I can't tell you I had a win quote to put up. It is nice to have another 4-win season, but I hope we don't stop there. The most I've ever had in a year is 6, and I hope I can get 7.
Thanks, Brad.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, we'll take our next question from Kelly Crandall. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Kelly.
You've spoken so confidently the last couple weeks, just coming into the playoffs, and your thoughts on what this team could do. Just what's different this year about it? I don't feel like you've ever been this outspoken just about how confident you feel going into the playoffs and what your team can accomplish. So what's different? What feels different about this year?
Well, I like the format. I like the tracks, how they line up. I think they fit me personally really well, and I think they fit this team really well. The team's really coming together and continues to click, and we'll continue to build new knowledge together that we're applying in a great manner. So I just feel like things are coming together, Kelly. I know that's probably hard to make much out of, but it takes so many little pieces to come together to win and to be great. Good. I've ran really good here in the Cup level for probably the last 8 to 10 years, but I've had a couple seasons that were great. And the difference between good to great is just all the tiny little things and the details. And I feel like a lot of those details are going our way.
I would think that, most would say, well, winning or obviously top tens is, that makes things easier in the playoffs. But is it safe to say that the playoffs are different every year? I mean, if it was easy and if you could just apply stuff from year to year, you would advance, a driver would advance year to year. So is it safe to say that, yeah, it's 10 races, it's rounds of 3, but every year is different?
Yeah, I mean, every year has its own ebbs and flows, but this year's much different than any of the other years because the tracks are so much different in the playoffs. So I think that's a big deal to me personally, Kelly.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, our next question will come from Bob Pockers. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Brad, you said earlier in the week that short tracks were among the best for you and Team Penske. Is there any comfort in kind of backing that up when you haven't had really that many short tracks this year?
Yeah, I was really bummed that when a couple of them got canceled. We canceled this race here in Richmond, and I feel like we canceled something else. I can't remember, but the spring race in Richmond. I knew it'd be good at these types of tracks, so it's kind of like, shoot. And sure enough, we are. But I'm not complaining because the playoffs have a fair amount of them, and things are coming together for us, Bob.
And I'm curious if you've been surprised by the 3-car and if there's been anything you've seen in what Dylan's doing that is different than earlier this year.
No, I think both the RCR cars look really good. The 8-car, Tyler Reddick, last run of the race was right in front of me. He was exceptional. He looked like one of the best cars on the track. So early in the race, I thought the same thing, Austin.
All righty, we're going to take our next question from Stephen Conley. Go ahead, Stephen.
Brad, you've locked into the next round now with the win, and a couple tracks that could cause some problems with Talladega and the Roval. How important is Las Vegas? And with your run earlier in the season, it seems like we've run 2 seasons since our last trip to Las Vegas.
Yes.
Confidence level going into the next round.
I don't feel bad about it. It's nice to have 6 extra playoff bonus points, build a little buffer. Vegas is a really critical race for us because between Talladega and the Roval, we don't want to have to count on scoring points there. So we sure would love to win Vegas. I don't have to think about it.
Now you basically called your shot earlier this week that with the Richmond win. Any future prognostications?
1 week at a time. One week at a time.
Thanks, Brad.
No problem.
All righty. We'll take our next one from Dominic with the Racing Experts. Go ahead, Dominic.
All right, thank you. Hey, Brad, so kind of just looking at this whole season, 4 wins, kind of building off Sterling's question, did you ever think you'd pass Dale Jarrett, Kurt Busch, and now Fireball Roberts on the all-time wins list?
Honestly, I wasn't aware that today I passed them.
Yeah, today he passed him to 24th all-time on the wins list.
No kidding. Well, that's great. I try not to stare at the stats because I try not to let them be the motivator. I try to find better motivators than that, but they're certainly cool to hear, and I appreciate you sharing them. I got a long ways to go to catch up to a lot of the greats in the sport, and I really wish I was winning 5 to 10 races a year because that's what's going to take to do that. But trying to also be grateful for what I have and to have won 4 races to date this year. But I want to be the best. And to be the best, you got to have those 5 to 10 win seasons consistently. And I've been having 3 to 4 win seasons. So I'm pushing really hard to get there, and it's nice. And I'm going to try to be grateful for what I have. And it's nice to break into that top 25, but I want way more than that.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take our next one from Cole with Popular Speed.
Thanks, Marissa. Hey, Brad, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Going off Kelly's question earlier about what's different this season for you guys, it seems like as of late, you guys have struggled making it past the 3rd round of the playoffs. Are you guys taking any different approaches this year? And are there maybe some areas that Jeremy fills where Paul struggled in the playoffs?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a question I'm going to be able to answer a lot better in, 10 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever the playoffs are when they're over. I don't want to look too far ahead. I really just want to focus 1 race at a time. And I can't say at the moment there's been any massive change to the strategy that stands out to me.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
All right, we'll take our next one from Mark Davis. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Marissa. Brad, thanks a lot. And I apologize if someone asked you this. I was a little late hopping on, so feel free to ignore me if someone did. But can you just talk about momentum and how this kind of propels you into round two, just from this victory tonight here at Richmond?
Well, it's certainly not a bad thing. It allows the me and the team to get a deep breath and focus a little more on Las Vegas rather than being panicked about Bristol. And the 6 bonus points are huge for the next 2 rounds. You know, that's 6 spots on the racetrack. So that should be a good thing.
Thanks, Brad.
No problem.
All right, and our final question for Brad's going to come from Lee Spencer. Go ahead.
Thank you, and congratulations, champ. Just curious, did you get an explanation as to why you couldn't get the flag?
No, I haven't yet. I'm assuming that, it's because my bus driver wasn't around or isn't allowed to be inside the track. So I'll have to catch up on that. That's kind of a bummer, but we'll make up for it somehow.
I know that's kind of like one of your little traditions. So
Yeah.
All right,
Normally
man.
my bus driver brings it to the team, but he wasn't able to do so.
Safe travels.
Thanks, Lee.
All right, Brad. Well, that'll do it. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Congratulations on getting another win in the next round of the playoffs, and we'll see you at Bristol.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All righty, and to our media, just a friendly reminder, we'll have the audio, video, and transcripts from this post-race media availability on NASCARmedia.com, as well as the audio from the second Zoom room if you guys need to utilize that. So check back in a little bit, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to anyone on the NASCAR comms team. And if not, we will see you.
Okay, well, we appreciate you joining us. We will go ahead and
Austin
start
Dillon
with
is now
questions.
on the second
We have
Zoom
several
room if you want to
already.
hop over there.
We're gonna take our first question from Jim.
Austin,
There you go.
there you go. Bingo. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.